Hello everyone, this is Iran Talk, and in this video I'd like to discuss the rise of the Sassanians under the leadership of Ardashir and his son Shapur I. And the Sassanian dynasty came into existence in 224 AD after the rebellion of Ardashir Papa Khan against the declining Arsacid dynasty or Parthian Empire. And this rebellion led to the creation of the Sassanid state, which would dominate Iran for the next 400 years. Ardashir was born in the Pars province of what is today contemporary Iran, likely in the city in and around the city of Istak. The location is unknown. However, it is supposedly put forth by many scholars that he was born in Turuda in Kir Pars. So he was from Pars province, and he was a local governor. He was the son of Papak, who was the son of Sasan. That's his lineage, and he also claimed descent from the Kayanians. But anyways, he was born in and around. Sorry again, I'm not using a script, but he was born likely at the end of the late 2nd century. Ardashir inherited the rulership of the Pars province from his father, who was Papak. Sorry, not from his father, but from his brother, whose name was Shapur. And after his inheritance, Ardashir sought to expand his influence, but nonetheless, he occupied the city of Estak somewhere in and around the late 210s. And during this time, the last Arsacid ruler, Artabanus IV, asked him to relinquish the city. However, he refused and he rebelled. And the rebellion began in the early 220s. And the rebellion was initially not that successful, but after a major engagement with the Parthian king at the Battle of Hormozdagan, it was a decisive victory for Ardashir, and this battle allowed him to expand his influence. And this defeat of the Parthian ruler in southern Iran led to the collapse of the Parthian dynasty and the establishment of the Sassanian dynasty. After this initial victory and the establishment of the Sassanian dynasty, Ardashir then looked to expand his realm. He turned eastwards, he defeated the rebellious Parthian rulers there, and he annexed most of eastern Iran and Parthia as well. After these victories, he turned westwards and he declared war against the Roman emperors, and he managed to defeat them and gain parts of territory in Mesopotamia, and his war with the Romans was likely a success. However, he did manage to capture the fortress of Hatra, which was a success. And after this, he ended up establishing authority over the former Parthian domains, and this led to the firm establishment of the Sassanian dynasty. And he left many figures, he left many inscriptions as well as figures, and he also left many great monuments in his name. One of them most notably at his carving near Naqsh Rostam, and it was with him receiving authority to rule over Iran from Ahura Mazda. So this is interesting as well. And he also had a carving at Naqsh Rajab about his coronation. So these were two carvings, and they're both interesting. But he died in the year either 240 or 242, and he was succeeded by his son Shapur I, and his death marked the end of the Ardashir era in the Sassanian Empire. And this was the very first ruler of the Sassanian dynasty, but he was not the strongest Sassanian emperor. The strongest Sassanian emperor is most likely his son Shapur I. Ardashir was succeeded by his son Shapur I in 242 AD, and Shapur declared war on the Romans immediately. His first war was against Gordian III, who was a child emperor, and he was very young. But anyway, Gordian marched against the Iranians, but he was defeated at the Battle of Mesich, and this was a decisive Sassanian victory, and Gordian was killed during the battle, and Philip the Arab was captured, and they were forced to make a humiliating peace. And after that, there was another invasion from the Romans, and this invasion was led by Valerian. Valerian marched into Iranian territory and he led an army of around 400, no, sorry, not around 60,000 troops. This began in 253, and by 260 he had occupied parts of northern Mesopotamia. However, Shapur re-attacked, and Shapur ended up decisively defeating him at the Battle of Edessa. This victory proved to be dramatic as it led to the capture of Valerian, who was the first Roman emperor to be captured in battle, and this victory led to a decisive and unchallenged power of the Sassanians in Mesopotamia and in Syria, and Shapur would then try to expand further into Roman territory. After this victory against the Romans, Shapur marched against the Romans, but he was defeated by Odenatus, and he was unable to take advantage of these early victories. And yeah, so that was pretty much his main when it comes to his wars. He did use the Roman prisoners of wars to build city. He built a city for them. He also used them to build dams and fortifications along the Roman Sassanian frontier. But yeah, he had four sons and one daughter. Sorry, Shapur actually had three sons and four sons. He had four sons and two daughters. But yeah, that's essentially it for this video. Shapur died in 270 AD at the age of 55, and that ended the Shapur era of the Sassanian dynasty. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate the support, and I would appreciate it if you could give me more likes and more subscribers. Thank you and take care, and please join our Discord.